The secret to working with DJI is crashing a lot of drones. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to this video where I'm going to be telling you exactly how I worked with my dream company, DJI. Recently I got the opportunity to work with DJI for a little social series for their DJI FPV, and this was the second project that I've actually had with DJI, which for me is really freaking cool. They've been like the #1 company that I wanted to work with when I first started getting into this whole travel filmmaking world 4 years ago. But when I first started, I had a huge misconception of just about how things worked dealing with brands, like whether or not you reach out to them, they reach out to you, who starts the conversation, and just a million other questions that I just had no idea about. How I thought it worked in the beginning was basically you go out, you shoot as much as you can, you put it on your portfolio, whether that's YouTube or Instagram, and then from there companies will see your content and then they will reach out to you. So as long as you have a good enough portfolio, the jobs will come to you. But I soon learned that it was nothing like that in the real world. So I thought this would just be a unique opportunity to talk about what it takes to make these opportunities happen. Because especially when you're first starting, opportunities don't come to you. That's just not how it is. You have to be proactive and go out and get those opportunities and make them for yourself. So this video is basically about how to create opportunities. My story with DJI starts with the Phantom 2, and I'm not sure if you guys have been around since then too, but it was basically like one of those big white drones, and you strapped a GoPro to the bottom of it. Literally had no idea what you were filming. You were kind of just in the air, watching the drone fly, just kind of hoping that you get a cool shot, and then looking at the footage later. Things have come so far since that first time, but that drone in particular, that's really what made me fall in love with capturing the world from a unique perspective. I was already into a little bit of travel filmmaking, but the videos were really, really bad, and drones gave me the opportunity to just do something that was unique and do something different than everyone else was doing. DJI drones became a huge tool for me in my career, so working with them became a massive goal for me. And to really explain this whole story, we have to start from the beginning. So without further ado, here is how to work for DJI. Before I get into this video, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, the like button down below. Yeah, there's no sponsor for this video, but if you guys hit that like button, it helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm, so I'd really, really appreciate it. Anyways, a few years ago when I first started, I was all about networking and building my portfolio. So naturally I did what everyone would do, and I saved up as much money as I possibly could. I think it was about $6,000 or something like that, and I just set off to travel as much as I could. My first big trip was Iceland, and I literally had no money going there, and I couldn't convince any of my friends to come with me, so it had to be a solo trip, which was absolutely terrifying in the beginning. But I booked the tickets, I backpacked, I hitchhiked everywhere I went, and I literally ate ramen noodles and gas station hot dogs the whole time. But I was having such an incredible experience that it really didn't matter. So that trip is what got me hooked, and shortly after that I booked a 4-month-long trip in Southeast Asia just to make my dollar stretch, because Southeast Asia is just a really cheap place to travel. During those trips in the beginning I went super hard on networking, and most of the time it was literally just as simple as sending emails. On those trips I'd set myself a goal with reaching out to 10 companies every single day. Didn't matter what kind of companies they were. I'd scroll through Instagram, find 10 different companies, reach out to them and say, hey, my name is Danny McGee, I do this, and I would love to work together. And out of 100 emails I'd send, I got maybe 5 or 6 no's, which I was stoked on, and then maybe 1 or 2 projects that actually worked out. And most of the time those projects in the beginning were completely free. But I was totally fine with that, because I was just building my name and building my credibility. During this time I probably reached out to DJI, I don't know, 20 times or something, but they're such a big company, and unless you have a really specific contact, it's really hard to actually find the right email. So anyways, I did this trip through Thailand, Myanmar, and Indonesia, and throughout that whole trip I was posting on Instagram once a day. I thought it was really good practice just to kind of work on my skills and hold myself accountable. At some point, this random guy named Michael reached out to me about sending him some photos for an app that he was developing. And basically what the app was an app about postcards. So if you travel, you can send him the actual photos you take on your trip, and then what his company will do is send people a physical postcard of those photos. Super cool concept. And basically what he wanted to do was take some photos that I've already taken and use them as promo content for his service. His budget, free 99. Big fat zero. He was just starting up and didn't have a massive budget, and for me, I had worked so hard at these images that I had created, so it was really hard to give them up for free. But he was a super nice guy and I liked his service, so for that specific occasion, I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead and use them for free. I could have easily just said no, and that probably would have been that. But with this business in particular, I liked the guy, so I just had a good feeling about it, and I said yes. After this trip to Asia, I had met all these really cool European friends, so I went home, I worked for a little while, saved up some more money, and then again bought a one-way ticket to Europe. And during that whole trip, I just surfed around staying with those friends. And Michael, the guy with the postcard app, just happened to live in one of the cities I was visiting, so we linked up and grabbed coffee. Every good thing ever starts with coffee. So we sat down at the coffee shop and just started talking, and at some point in the conversation he was like, oh dude, your drone stuff is really cool and I have a contact with DJI, do you want me to share it with you? And so at that point I was like, dude, hell yes I would. I've been literally trying to reach out to them forever. I would love that. So I reached out and somehow they got back to me and they basically said, hey, we don't have any opportunities right now, but I'm forwarding your contact to the rest of the team. And then this other guy saw that email, reached out to me and was like, yo, I love your stuff. We don't have any opportunities right now, but if you want to send me some stuff, I'm happy to share it on our page. And throughout all my travels, I'd built up a decent portfolio of drone stuff, so I just got as many shots as I could and sent it out to him, not expecting anything in return. And little side note here, I think the reason that he really liked my shots is because in all of my shots, I always got really close to things, whether it was like shooting through little gaps and stuff or going backwards like right next to myself. I was always kind of pushing the boundaries of the drones because most people are too afraid to get close to things. But when you're close to things, it gives you like such cool foreground and the shots just are better. So I think really like one of the reasons that he really liked my stuff in the beginning was just because of this. But obviously when you're getting close to things, you end up crashing a lot of drones. And I didn't necessarily really have the money to replace these drones, but the shots were just so cool that I just kind of risked it, and most of the time it worked out well. So you could say that the secret to working with DJI is crashing a lot of drones. RIP to all the drones that were left behind. So anyways, I shared my shots with him and he ended up sharing a few of them on DJI's page, which was so cool for me. There's this weird stigma in this industry about working for free, whether it's working for a company for free or like photographers meeting up with models and working for free. I don't know why it's this big thing, but everyone seems to be so against working for free, which I totally understand. At the end of the day, you need to pay for your food, you need to pay for your apartment, but at the same time, a lot of people are missing out on massive opportunities to get their name out there, make a connection, network, just because they don't want to work for free. Like I said, I get it, but if an opportunity comes up that you can think forward into the future and it might pay off in a big way, do it. Who cares if it's for free right now? Also, money isn't the only thing that you get paid in. There's a ton of other things like experience, connections, exposure to the right community. For example, all these shots I was sending to DJI were in exchange for exposure, which normally when a company hits me up and wants to pay in exposure, I'm like, get the f out of here. But it's DJI. That is the exact community that I want to connect with. So I wasn't paid in USD. I was paid in something which is worth so much more, which is credibility. So many important people follow DJI, and having my name attached to their page gave me a huge credibility boost. Also, going back to the work that I did for my friend Michael, I wasn't paid in USD, but I was paid in a connection, and that connection ended up paying off big time. I'm a firm believer that if you put good energy out into the world, it'll come back to you in ways that you will never expect. So years went by. I continually sent them shots every once in a while, not expecting anything in return. I grew my skills, my portfolio, the amount of drones that I crashed, and over the years just kept sending them more stuff. And eventually I got an email from DJI, from my contact there, that said, hey, we want to have you on for a paid project. So whenever people ask me, how did you get this job with DJI? I'm now gonna send them this video. But in the past, I just said it's a long story. So moral of the story, if you want to work for your dream company, just show up wanting to learn. Work really hard at what you're doing, and you don't even have to know exactly where you're going or how you're going to do it, but just work hard at it. You can send a million messages to a million different brands and they won't go through, but just keep an open mind. Shoot for free sometimes if you have to. Just be a good, caring person, and you have no idea how those opportunities are going to come back to you. And please, please, please don't be that asshole that says, I don't shoot for free, because you're cutting yourself off from so many different opportunities that might come your way in the future. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you guys. If you want to do me a huge solid and hit the like button down below, like I said, it helps me out a ton with the algorithm. But for now, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Oh shit! That down! Dude, the tent I think is fine. He's on the story, let's go.